career, and I kept them to him all my whole career.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, across the airwaves. It is Wednesday, and you know what time that means. It's the True North podcast, hosted by a brother, a mentor, and a friend, Billy North. Yours truly, Mark Mancini, playing producer here in Los Angeles, playing a little co-host with him, back and forth, and boy, the guests have come. Dusty Baker, Gene Tennis, Joe Rudy, and another legend coming tonight. We'll get into the introduction here momentarily. 347-205-9631. If you happen to miss this show, sorry to you, but catch the archive version on blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports. Podcast platforms, wherever you subscribe to podcasts, powered now by Mancini Media. So without further ado, let me lay the red carpet down, put that podium in its place, and hand off the mic. First of all, the threes, Billy. How are you? How can people get a hold of you? And tell us about the legend you're bringing tonight in here.
Okay. I am wonderful, and I'm happy to have Willie Horton with us. You can reach me at billnorte15@gmail.com. And I want to introduce one of the greatest players to play the game, coming in an era where the greatest players were playing. I'm talking about Hank Aaron and Mickey Mantle and Willie Horton, who is my guest. And Willie, how are you?
I'm just fine, Billy. I'm glad to hear your voice.
Thank you. Well, let's get on it. I got something to tell you.
Okay.
When we came through, I was after you. I got to the big leagues at 71. But it was people like you. We had, especially young black players, we had a mentor. And mine was Billy Williams. And you were the mentor to one of my best friends who I was raised with. And he passed away just recently. And my heart aches for that. Joe Staten.
Seattle Slim.
And Seattle Slim. But you guys, we wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys.
Oh, man, thanks for saying that.
And you were always kind to me, and I appreciated that. Tell me about how it was when you came up.
Well, you know, you go through life and tribulation. When I left home, I had to walk 6 miles from downtown Lakeland to spring training. I didn't realize I couldn't ride no taxi. And I thought they playing a joke on me. I said, "Give my duffel bag." I had to walk from downtown Lakeland to Tiger Town. It was about 5 miles or 6 miles. But, you know, it was the best walk I looked at. Walk where it got me at today. I kind of lived my life through that walk. Made a better man out of me, a better person. Came up through the race of time. I remember one time through the course of the year I come up with the Tiger. I had to get bodyguards for my kids to go to school. It was pretty bad after my first 4 or 5 years. But, you know, thanks to Hank Greenberry. I met Hank Greenberry through Ernie Harwell, George Kell, and he helped me get through these hard times. And they treated the Jew worse than they treat the black people at the time.
He had to go through that too.
Oh, yeah, him and Jackie. Well, he got me more acquainted more about Jackie because him and Jackie was very, very close. But, you know, I reached back, and y'all mentioned a great ball player early, Willie Stargell. Oh, man. These guys, and after many years after unplayed and he unplayed, we realized and then realized that he going out seeing him sit at my aunt's house. Then one day he was cooking, and I said, "How he cooking?" They said, "That's her twin sisters." I said, "Wow." All them years, but I said, but we had, you know, you had, you know, Cook Linden and these guys that reached out. Ernie Banks, they always called me all the time. You got to hang in there, son. I don't know why you signed in that Republican League. You should have signed over in the Democrat League. But I survived. You know, I survived, and I'm very proud that I remember they put that statue of me out in Comerican Park.
Which is
20 years ago. and I made that part of my testimony. You, Billy, and all the guys I played against, I could have never achieved that once for these y'all support and my playing against you guys and all the mentors I had through life. We had many mentors, and they helped me get through that. And I said, well, the best thing that I learned through all this troublation I had, I learned how to play my life through the fans. The fan will heal you when you can't be healed. They teach you about your job before you go to work. You know your job when you leave the hotel or you're at home. You know your job. You don't need notes in your pocket. And but I think it all gets back to when I first met you, Billy, years ago. I never forget you. I said, but Billy Norris, I'm not saying this because he was more than just somebody that could run center. So he could play center field. And I wish I could see some of the young guys do some things that he could do in center field. And that comes from knowing his job before he went to the ballpark. This young man went on to have a great career, but his surrounding with people like Joe Rudy and Gene Tennis, these guys. I mean, I love all them kids. I came up, caught the tail end of them a little bit over in Oakland, and how much they made me feel at home. And I feel at home, and all through my life, and right today I keep up with them. I try to reach out to them. Norris, I remember my manager over in Venezuela, Mike was on my pitching staff. I called Billy Martin. I said, this kid be on your staff this year. He said, what? I said, this kid on your staff, I think he was 26-6. But you know, I had a great career. I never complained. I look back, I had a manager over in Venezuela, first manager won the Caribbean World Series for them. And never had opportunity. Somebody asked me about managing the States or anything. I never had the opportunity. Had a lot of coaches' opportunity. Then Yaki from the old Yaki from the 80s years ago, he always called and reached out. Everywhere he went, he always reached out to me, and I take my hat off to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
A good man. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Willie, Mark Mancini here.
Good ride.
And I want to ask you something. Your 18-season career, when I think of how hard it is to stay in the league 1 or 2 years, what was instrumental in keeping you in that league that long? Because that's a hell of a career. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Well, I tell you, you know, I retired in between, and that's when I was a manager over in Venezuela. And then one of my players got hurt over it, and I saw him messing back around with a baseball until I get me somebody, and that little boy got back in me. And I started doing things, started running, started throwing, started hitting, and I came out of retirement. I think the key is you got to keep that little boy in you to keep you growing. And when you keep that little boy and keep you growing, you have good decision skills, you make good choices, but you make adjustments to move on. You know, you got to learn as you get older in life, you got to make adjustments. You got to kind of pick it up. I see a lot of things going in life now. I'm glad, like our new president we got now with the Tigers, I'm glad to see him because he comes from the technology field, but he believes in mixing it with common sense and knowledge. You've got to mix it. Technology always been here. It was there when Billy Norris played, but they mixed it. It was there with Willie Horton. You mix it. My dad always said, "Old man river, don't worry about it. Keep rolling along after you're gone." You learn how to get on it and try to get through it. But I think I see a lot of things, a lot of great athletes, and I just wish, to me, I know football players, I know basketball players, we get that brotherhood back. See, we have a camaraderie. Yeah. I don't care if you got 1 day or 10 years or 15 years or 1 day or hour in the big league. That's a brotherhood that nobody can take from you.
Yeah, it was. It was a wonderful experience. Well,
unbelievable.
Yes.
I would like to know, what was it like to be one of the most feared hitters in the game? And I'm talking about McCovey, I'm talking about Stargell, I'm talking about John Mayberry, I'm talking about Dick Allen, I'm talking about you. Pitchers didn't want to pitch to you, and you did what you did anyway.
Well, you know, right today, I know how to use these little bats. The bat I use, Billy, is 35.5-inch, 38-ounce or 40-ounce bat. That's what I use my whole career. When I retire, I got the retired bat right in my office now. I used that bat a year and a half. I never broke my bat.
Never broke.
I used to crack my bat and I used to fix it with tape. And then become my game because I learned how to hit. You have 6 inches on that bat that you sweet spot. That's where you learn how to hit. And that's what I did. Out of that, I learned how to hit. Learning that to get into the pitcher. What made me the hitter I am, I know my homework. I had 2 books on all the pitchers I faced in the big league. That came from respect. And that's what they need to get back into. See, I went out and enjoy the game, son. I enjoy the game, my head off to a pitcher. My dad told me something when I was a young man, and I learned to live through that. Never disrespect a pitcher if he's on that mound. If you're a 20-game winner, the 20-game will have the same respect because sometimes you want to cut the light bulb on, it might not come on. So I learned how to respect and end up with 2 books on all the pitchers I face.
Wow. Tell us about your.
And they used to drill me, Billy. They used to drill me about 20 times a year now. And I know
that is wise.
You know, I know the one was gonna do it. You know. But
did you ever go out there and get them?
Yeah, Lonely kept it downstairs, but they came upstairs. I had to go talk to them a little bit.
Hey, Willie, tell us about your baseball superstitions. The use of the same batting helmet throughout your career. You only repainted it when you changed teams. What's with that? Because I can remember playing hockey, talking to the goalpost, but I like to hear your superstitions.
Well, you call that superstition or good luck. Charlie Dresden gave me 2 helmets, and I kept them helmets the rest of my career. I remember I had number 46 on my uniform. He gave me number 23. I kept that. Now I see 23 out there retired on the wall and a statue above it. And, you know, I learned how to live through that. But everywhere I went, I had that helmet painted. You know, when I got to Oakland, it was kind of heavy on here. It had so many coats of paint on it. But anyway, it's just something that I just kept. We took care of our equipment. Billy, don't probably tell you the same thing. They took care of your equipment. We had a clubhouse, man, but we know stuff that we have to have. We didn't depend on him to take care of some of our equipment that we know we got to have.
And you had backup gloves and
you had all that.
And you had, come on, man. It takes 2 years to break in a glove now, and that. But if someone really disappears, you gotta have one ready.
I always have me an extra glove, but the only glove I got down in my rec room frame in the case that I used that my majority of my career, and Mickey Stanley used to be the good glove guy, always lace it up. I use that same glove. That's the same glove I use in the
and relace it. Yeah.
So that Blue Rock at home plate.
That's what I wanted to ask you about too. I saw that. I looked at it last night. And
well, Billy, what that does did is what you did. You know who was running, who was hitting, and you always read reports, and that's what made it so. And Lola just going in the 5th inning, always became small, and if he's going to hit it my way, it'd be 20 feet either way coming in on either side.
Yeah.
But then Luke Brock read in the same report from All-Star break that year. He started drifting from first base around the third. He did the same thing when he did second. And Bill Freehand know the same report. And Billy seen he broke his stride and he let the ball come through. And that's what we need to get back in. That's what I try to tell kids. You know yourself, you talk about things, you see things happen before it happens.
So he wasn't running the whole way?
No, he broke his stride. And see, then the guy coaching, that's Luke Brock running. Then the guy on deck tell him to slide. I don't need to be up Luke Brock running.
Come on, man.
And
everybody took things for granted.
He picked up bad habits, bringing base stealing back in the game because I think he set the leg that year stealing bases.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Let me ask you, Willie, about the 1968 World Series champion, the Tigers, how you'd compare them to the 1984 Tigers. And I was blessed enough to watch one of their road games when they came out to California when they started out 35-5. Take us a little comparison with those two teams, because I thought both those teams in 68 and 84 were something special for the city of Detroit.
Well, I don't think they could touch us. Not these Kurt Gibson and all these guys now.
Hey, Billy thinks nobody can touch those 72, 73, 74 A's, and I keep bringing up them 76 Reds.
Well, if you don't feel like that on that team, you seem to talk about it. But I think we came up, the 6 to 8 guys. We came up through Tiger Town 1 to 2, 3 years apart. Raised up in Tiger Town, pillar fighting, learn how to get in each other's face. Because you got to learn how to get in each other's face to win.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the key, and that's what made us what we are. We should have repeated in 69. We didn't start playing no baseball in 69 after the All-Star break. Then we all still end up 4 games behind Baltimore, I think, 6 games. But it was just Earl Wilson. I think he had about 10 to 12 home run pinch hitting. He was a pitcher. He was. McLean was hit. Yeah, but McLean was 31 games. And Lolis came along at the time. Lolis won in 3 games. But McLean best year was the next year. He was 25-4. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, but I think it's you can have the best athlete on the team, but you got to have the best guys know how to work, chemists can know how to work together.
Right.
And we had guys just right there before the game started in the club, I'd get in each other's face and go out there and take care of business. And that's what made went champion. You can't, I'm very religious. You can't have all church boys.
No.
You can't have that. You can't have it.
But when you step between the white lines, it was about business.
Oh man, I tell you, I don't even go out there now. I'm 80 years old. I don't even go out there near the lines because you get a good feeling, and I don't want to try to do things I know I can't do. But I'm saying it's a feeling that you have. It's you treasure the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You worked side by side with who I think was one of the best and still is the best, is Dave Dombrowski. The school of writing open checks and building championship teams. I think if Dave Dombrowski was in the days of the A's there with working side by side with Billy and the company and Fingers and all those guys, they probably would have won 6 titles. But Dave Dombrowski, I think, doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's turned franchises around in Florida and Philly and all these places. Yeah.
I'll tell you about Dave. I go back with Dave Dombrowski with the White Sox when he was an intern farm director, and he had me go down and work with Oz again and Venezuela. I was coaching then, and the credit he know how to bring people together, but he know how to go out and ball players he bring into your organization, they come in ready to play. They don't understand these band-aids. You got a lot of ball players got band-aids. They don't understand band-aids. Ball players he find. And I never I told the people, I remember telling Mr. Illich that when we brought him back here, when we started turning the organization around years ago, that watch David do his job. And he just got the niche to doing that. Everywhere he go, he do that. They always open up the purse. So that's just with the modern age is about the game is built on money now. That just come with the territory, but he know how to go out. But he got the best thing with Dave Dombrowski is he have good communication with everybody around the league, scout, agent, and all, and that's very important.
He was in Boston too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, Boston. Yeah. Everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
He started down with he brought Cabrera up when he was 18 years old when the Marlins won it. And then he left there, went up there with them guys and won it. So I'm saying you can't take something. I think certain people got God-given talent, and I think that's what Dave DeBrossi has.
I want you to tell me something about your relationship with a hell of a center fielder for you guys named Ron LaFleur.
Well, Ronnie, I thought Ronnie cheated himself. If he had to learn how to work, he should have been on the map. I think Ronnie kind of cheated himself. The best center field that I ever played in my time in with and guess, and I put him up there close to Mays, is Mickey Stanley.
Yeah.
And Mickey Stanley could go get him. He was just like you, Billy Boy. He can just go get them, son. You played against them type of guys like Billy.
And then he would come in and play shortstop.
Oh, man, come in. I mean, I remember that time in the World Series, he came in, he would run up to MVP in the World Series playing shortstop. So we get K-Line in the lineup. So I'm saying this is, but I'm saying
I remember
you got to have special people. You got to have special people to do that.
Yeah. Well, Ronnie had a lot of skill.
Oh, no, Ronnie, I ain't taking anything for Ronnie. I remember going up to Jackson Prison with me and Billy Martin and Frank Howard, saw him. Mm-hmm. And he come home, then later on they signed him. Then a year and a half, he in the big league. No, I'm gonna look forward to seeing him next month down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He had a cup his leg kind of appetite cut off. He had the problem.
Would he have diabetes?
Yeah, he had that. He told me, I thought it was diabetes. He said it come from smoking cigarettes. And I didn't realize cigarettes do that. Well, I ain't never smoked a cigarette, but I ain't never realized cigarettes do something like that.
It was a great era.
Yeah, stay away from Jimmy Leland.
But I tell you what, you guys really know if you guys had Joe Rudy, the most unrated ball player in this whole sports. That man could play. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Rudy, and they never, I used to call him Abraham Lincoln type. Easy walks, easy, strong as an ox, very easy, nice human being.
Yeah.
That guy, he's talking about playing some outfield. Oh,
we had a good time with him last week, but
you did?
I played with two of the best left fielders that ever played the game, Joe Rudy and Dusty Baker.
Oh, no, you can't, no. And Dusty, I go back with Dusty many years. Dusty brought me out to maybe as honorary coach at the All-Star game this year.
Yeah.
That was a great honor, man. I'm looking at something. He sent me something yesterday, a picture of the All-Star picture in a good frame yesterday. But he's one of the great human beings that I remember Dusty. Go back as a kid in Lakeland. He used to come and visit his grandparents in Florida, and I remember he used to mess with me out in left field, and he ended up signing with the Atlanta Brave and great ball player with the Dodgers, and that was history. And a great manager he is. Yeah. I was so disappointed. They talking about 2 or 3 months ago, talking about he's the first black man to win 2,000 games. Anytime you win 2,000 games, you're a great man. You're black, pink, ain't no color to that.
I know, and you know him as I do, that he is one of the most special people to walk the earth.
No,
we go back to 1969.
Great human being, son.
Yeah.
Great human being. But you can't, we're very fortunate in life, the track records we have with people that we can reach back and say thank you. See, they taught us, understand, we help people who recognize people around us help mold us to what we did in life. That's what type of people we were surrounded by.
It's amazing. It's amazing that how, I used to watch you on TV when I was young, and Hank and all of them, and to be able to come through and live your dream to be able to play professional baseball, but then to be on the same field with you.
Oh, man. I tell you, I remember my first All-Star game in Minnesota. I'm out there supposed to be getting batting practice. I'm out there getting Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, them all in their underdraft.
Oh, good.
And I missed the clubhouse meeting. And the manager said, the hell, don't you know you're here to play against these guys?
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's what life is about, man. That's a dream, and that's what nobody can ever take away from you.
Great.
No.
Yeah.
Willie, real fast.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Toughest pitcher you had to face, and the craziest road trip you endured on the road with the Tigers, or the Mariners, or the Rangers, or whatever. But give us the toughest pitcher you faced.
The trip I had in Detroit on the trip, our plane almost crashed in Kansas City. Mickey Stanley sit out there, had stuff on the runway. We come in and that stuff, and we don't sit around and see the plane that was having trouble. They said, "You guys are in trouble, man. Both of us fell out on the ground." but to get back to pictures, that get back to what I said about my father. I remember the toughest pitcher at one particular game, the first game of the World Series. But then I had to get back in my game, and I got him the fourth game with
was his name Gibson?
Bob Gibson. I mean, I'll never forget this game. He was pitching, and the K-line come back I wasn't paying no attention to the game. He come back, I thought he put a rise, and he said, "I'm finished." I said, "Damn, boy, this going to be a fast game. This going to be a fast game today." But he struck out 6. He got me for 17. I never forget that. And but I think that's the toughest time. But throughout my career, I never say I like to face this guy. And I kept them all in the same category of respect, and I grew. But that one game stands out more than anything in my whole career. That State World Series first game was Bob Gibson. And but I remember the catcher kept telling him, "Look at the scoreboard." He'd tell him, "Get back there and just catch the damn ball."
Yeah.
He was a great athlete, man. I mean, and I tell you, Bob was mean, but he's one of the kindest guy I've met after we all retired, been around him and going out to different functions. Man, one of the nicest guys you want to be around.
Yeah. After he got out of the game.
Exactly.
Wow. I wonder what a Bob Gibson.
I was going to slow him down one time. I was going to slow him down one time. I said, "Billy, he's pitching too fast." And Billy said, "You better get your butt up to that plate and get in that batter's box and stay in there, and don't be doing that little thing you do with your foot, digging in."
No, just get up there and hit. I remember
exactly.
we had an exhibition game in spring training, and played over in Winter Haven against Boston. Then I didn't have to make the trip. They going to St. Pete. I wanted to go get an autographed ball signed by Bob Gibson. So I'm going on the trip with them guys, and I get out there, and when Bob got through warming up at the old Al Lane Field, walked through between the stands. And I sat there with a ball. I said, "Mr. Gibson, sign my ball." And he looked at me. He said, "What position?" And I told him,
"What position you play?
You get your ass away from me." Man, I run in the clubhouse and I told Gates, man, you was a damn fool for making the trip. Hell, you played yesterday. but that was funny. But I'm saying after that, I stayed my distance. But you learn how to respect them. And then after retire, I really understand and love him. Yeah.
Exactly. We're out of time almost. We're winding it down. Oh my God! All I can say is how much Bob Gibson would make these days with the money they're throwing around in baseball. Yeah.
Well,
and bless. Yeah. Unbelievable.
I thought about Aaron Wilson today. I seen we signed this one guy that signed for $8-10 million for 1 year.
Wow. And unbelievable.
Won 12, 8 games or 9 games. I mean, most of them guys used to complain when they win 12 and 13 games, hell, they'd be scared they'll get sent out.
I just talked to Bert Blyleven.
And that's just the way it is. Things change.
Yeah, no.
We got to learn how to go with the flow and And, it's just the way it is, and get back to Old Man River. Don't worry about it. Just kind of roll on with it.
Oh,
but
God.
I think,
illustrious career, my friend. We're out of time. I'm gonna borrow a slogan for you guys. Bless the boys. The Detroit Tigers slogan there.
Oh, yeah. God bless the boys. But wait a minute, we'll hook back up again later on in the year, next year or something. Bill.
Yeah, definitely. You can't get enough of the Detroit Tigers and you. Yeah. Hey, Billy, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you, my friend, as we wind this thing out.
Okay.
You
can reach me at billnorte15@gmail.com. I want to thank Mr. Horton, and please come back. And what an honor to be able to talk to you and have this moment. Thank you.
We'll do it again, son. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. For Billy North, Willie Horton, yours truly, Mark Mancini. Catch the archive version of the show, blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports. Podcast platforms, if you're subscribed to podcast, powered now by Mancini Media. Long live the Tigers, the A's, and I'm hoping my Pirates do something next year. That's the thing. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks.